You are sold a lie, not by anyone specifically, by everyone gradually. The lie is that your potential is fixed, that your peak is behind you, and that your ceilings are determined by genes, age, or the family you were born into. Well, the science says otherwise. In fact, the science is almost embarrassing in how loudly it contradicts the story most people are living. And here are 44 of those facts that will make you question every limit you've ever accepted. Hi, my team just pointed to me that more than 50% of you who watch our videos are not yet subscribers. Please, we'd love to encourage you to subscribe. It is how YouTube recommends more of this video to a bigger audience and more people like you. So do us this favor by subscribing today. Thank you for that. I hope you've done that. Number 1, your peak cognitive years are not in your 20s because different mental abilities peak at different ages. Vocabulary peaks in your 60s, emotional intelligence in your 40s to 60. Pattern recognition grows almost every decade of your life. You are not running out of time. You are running out of excuses. Number 2, your potential is throttled mostly by your identity, not your ability. You will not consistently outperform the person you believe you are. Change the self-concept and your behavior will follow. If you try to change behavior alone, identity drags it back. And number 3, you are 3 identities deep right now. The person you show outside, the person you think you are, and the person manifesting exactly the life you live. The gap between them is where most suffering lives, and is also where growth happens. And at number 4, you become the average of your input, not your intentions. What you read, eat, watch, listen to is shaping your brain, whether you consent or not. So you create your input like your future depends on it, because you know what? It does. And number 5, your personality is more flexible than personality tests suggest. Trait research shows even core traits shift up to 30% across a lifetime. You are not just who you are at 22, so stop quoting them. And number 6, you are still early. Whatever age you are, statistically, you have more decades of capacity ahead than you assume. The most common deathbed regret isn't I tried too much. It is that I waited too long to try. And at number 7, stagnation is not rest. It is slow decay. Without growth, biological systems regress. You are either ascending or descending. There are no flat roads. And at number 8, you forget 70% of what you learn within 24 hours, unless you revisit it. The brain prunes ruthlessly. If the knowledge doesn't get used, it gets deleted. And at number 9, your handwriting changes when you lie. Pressure, slant, and spacing shifts. Forensic graphology isn't perfect, but your body always tells on you somewhere. And at number 10, you are born with around 86 billion neurons and you're still wiring new connections every day. Today, neuroplasticity doesn't expire. The brain you have at 60 can learn what the brain at 16 couldn't, because it has context the younger version lacked. You are not running out of runway, you're running out of excuses. And number 11, your potential is not a fixed number, it's a range. Behavioral genetics show that traits like intelligence and discipline have a spectrum, a span of possible expression depending on the environment. You don't have a ceiling, you have a window, and the window is wider than your fear says. And at number 12, Olympic athletes and you share 99% of the same DNA as the same average person. The difference isn't genetics, it's accumulated decisions, environments, and repetition. Talent is mostly a story we tell after the fact to explain ordinary biology doing extraordinary things. And at number 13, you can't grow new brain cells until you die. Neurogenesis happens in the hippocampus, which is the seat of memory and learning. well into adult age. The idea that you cannot teach an old dog is a cliche told by people who stopped trying. And number 14, confidence is a side effect of competence, not a prerequisite for it. So waiting to feel ready is one of the great life traps. Action produces evidence. Evidence produces confidence. The order matters. And number 15, sleep is when your skill gets installed. Memory consolidation happens during deep and REM sleep. You learn during the day, but you become during the night. When you skip sleep, you are studying without saving the file. And number 16, your body's intelligent system adapts to whatever you repeatedly expose it to. Cold water, public speaking, hard conversations. All of these are hardwired into you as you expose yourself to it. So whatever you use to spike your heart rate eventually becomes the baseline. Capacity is built by deliberate exposure, not avoidance. And at number 17, most personalities is just unexamined habit. Personality is both a state and transformation, both what is and what could be. The big 5 traits are stable, but they shift more across a lifetime than psychologists once believed. You are not stuck with who you've been. You are stuck with what you've been repeating. And at number 18, the body adapts to load, physical, cognitive, or emotional. This is the principle of progressive overload, and it applies far beyond the gym. Difficult conversation, complex problem, public exposure, all of it expands the system that handles it. So you're either using it or you're losing it. And at number 19, compound interest applies to humans, not just money. A 1% daily improvement compounds to roughly 37 times in a year. And so, most people overestimate what they can do in a week and dramatically underestimate what they can do in a decade. And at number 20, resilience isn't a personality trait, it's a learned skill. Studies on post-traumatic growth show people often emerge from hardship more capable, more grounded, and clearer. Suffering doesn't automatically build you, but processed suffering does. And at number 21, you are built to flourish in challenge, not comfort. Positive psychology research consistently finds that meaning beats pleasure in predicting life satisfaction. The easy life is a marketing concept. The fulfilled life is structurally demanding. And at number 22, the most powerful predictor of growth is not IQ, it is openness to experience. Of all the big 5 traits, openness most strongly correlates to lifetime learning, career evolution, and creative output. And openness can be deliberately practiced. And at number 23, boredom is fertilizer for breakthrough. Your default mode network is active during rest and wandering. And this is where insight is born. People who never get bored never get original. So schedule emptiness sometimes. And number 24, constraints increase creativity. Total freedom produces paralysis. Limits produce ingenuity. This is why writers under deadline outperform writers with unlimited time. So choose your constraints before life chooses them for you. 25. Self-compassion outperforms self-criticisms for performance. When you treat yourself kindly after failure, there's a higher probability of returning back to the same task. The drill sergeant inside you is a poor coach. Number 26, your attention is the most valuable resource you own. It is your consciousness in the now. It is also the most stolen. People who guard it ruthlessly produce disproportionate output. And so focus is the new IQ. And at 27, you become more like the questions you ask yourself. Language is meaning. The questions you are asking determines what and where you seek solution. And at number 28, you overestimate 1 year and underestimate 10. Bill Gates said this, and behavioral economics proves it. Hyperbolic discounting makes us sprint for short-term wins and abandon the long game right before it pays. If you want to win, think long term. And And at number 29, you can rewire fear in 12 minutes because exposure therapy research shows that the amygdala begins downgrading threat response within minutes of repeated self-exposure. The fear you've carried for 20 years can lose its grip in an afternoon if you stop avoiding. And at number 30, you overestimate change in others and underestimate it in yourself. You think you finished evolving. You haven't. You are both a state and a transformation, and so keep evolving. And at number 31, attention is the single most powerful input in human transformation. What you pay attention to grows neural real estate in your brain. If you focus on threat, your threat detection system will expand. If you focus on opportunity, guess what? The reward circuitry strengthens. You literally grow what you water. And at number 32, you can predict your life 10 years from now by looking at your current daily habit. Behavior economists call this trajectory modeling. Your daily 1% choices compound exponentially. The person you will be at 35 is just today's habit scaled, not your dreams, not your plans, your habits. You are 31% more productive when you're happy. Sean Anker's research at Harvard flipped the script. Success doesn't cause happiness. Happiness causes success. You have been chasing it backwards. And at number 34, the 3.5 rule of social movement. Eric Chenoweth's research at Harvard found that no government has withstood a non-violent movement once 3.5 of the population is actively participating. You don't need everyone, you need a critical few. Apply this to your teams, your ideas, and anything of worth in your life. And at number 35 is the spotlight effect. You think people notice your mistake, awkwardness, and outfit choices way more than they do. Studies show that observers notice around 50% of what you think they notice. And so nobody is thinking about you as much as you think or you fear. And so go do your thing. So number 36, the 80-20 rule of you. Pareto rule applies to your life. 20% of your habits create 80% of your result. 20% of your relationships drive 80% of your joy. So find the vital few and cut the trivial many. And at number 37, the hedonic treadmill. 6 months after winning the lottery or bets, your baseline happiness returns to where it was. And you know what? External wins doesn't change you. Internal calibration does. Number 38, the backward law. The more you chase happiness, the more it eludes you. Wanting positivity is in itself a negative experience. Accept the negative and stop chasing the highs and the low, because the positives and the negatives are both part of everyday life if you live long enough. And at number 39 is the 90 seconds rule of emotion. The chemical lifespan of an emotion in your body is 90 seconds. And after that, you're choosing to retrigger it with your thought. And so ride the wave, don't surf it on repeat. At number 40, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. This single realization is the foundation of every transformation. And so observe your thoughts without becoming them. And at number 41, the Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If you give yourself a week to write an email, guess what? It will take a week. If you give yourself 20 minutes, it will be done in 20. And so shrink your deadlines and expand your output. And at number 42, the halo effect. One positive trait like attractiveness, confidence, or accent makes people assume you are better at everything. Halos are unearned, but they're real. And so invest in your halo. The world is not fair, but it's predictable. And at number 43 is the law of reciprocity. Give first. Humans are biologically compelled to give back. This is so powerful that free samples increase sales by almost 600%. Generosity isn't naive, it's strategic and decent. And at number 44 is the scarcity principle. Anything rare feels more valuable, even if it is not. This is why limited time works almost every time. Make yourself scarce. Stop being available everywhere, anytime, for anyone. Thank you for staying by and completing this video. But we have another video somewhere on the screen that will take you deeper into the knowledge that you want that will change your life. So click somewhere on the screen for the next video showing. You will love it. It is about your well-being and the psychology that you need to flourish. This is Ulab, and we are here to make sure that your life gets better. Thank you. So click on it somewhere on the screen, and I'll see you there.